hello, and welcome to Watch What Crappens Crappy Hour. I'm Ronnie, and that's Ben over there. Hello, Ben.
Hi, Ronnie. How's it going?
Good. How's Cheerio London, darling?
London's quite lovely. I'm actually recording. Yeah, I gained an accent this afternoon. Sort of amazing. I was walking down on Oxford Street, and I was like, babe, excuse me. And then...
love your pants. Love your pants. Love your school. Love your pants in your school.
I did crash into a girl on the street because I was like trying to make a left to cross the crosswalk, but she kept going straight, and we did the thing like where we both went one way, then we both went the other way. But since it was British and it's the holidays, she was like, "Oh, I'm terribly sorry." So it was really adorable, and I got my accent after that. It's like that movie Smile, except instead of a smile and then eventually you die a week later, if someone smiles at you and they're British, you get an accent and it's immediate.
Yeah, I forgot why Smile is so horrifying until I moved back to LA, and everybody was so horrified when I smiled at them. You know, like we don't do that here. So.
I just want to mention I am broadcasting from the hotel. I apologize to anyone if my Wi-Fi is shaky. I have no idea how it is. It seems to be doing well. And also, special guest in the background. Everyone say hi to Mr. Dominique Kelly.
Hi, Dom.
Luxuriating on the bed.
He really is. That is one sexy Crappens pose.
We love a Dominique cameo.
Well, my life has changed because I went to see the movie Wicked. So that was one thing. It changed my life. It was so good. And you know what? I'm so ashamed of all my gays. My gays wouldn't go with me. They were all bitchy about it. And then guess what happened? I went, and then no one made any noise. I was like, how are people not applauding? But I went to see it in Texas. Do you think they were applauding? I feel like in New York, after numbers, they would applaud, like when they were really good. But in Texas, they do not. And finally, by the end, I was like, yes! I was screaming. Like, when the lights came up, I started screaming. I was like crying. I was like, oh my God. I was the gayest person there. But God, it was worth it. And then I came out of the movie, and Moana was letting out at the same time. Holy village of little girls. I've never seen that many little girls.
Dom was literally just telling me 10 minutes ago that Moana did huge business this weekend, and it's like apparently a thing. I'm going to try to see Wicked this week in London. I'm going to try to see a matinee, which will be exciting. I'm excited to see what it's like. But yeah, I guess I'm not surprised that in Texas people were not reacting to the screen as much. One of my biggest regrets is that I did not see Dreamgirls in the theater. I saw a screener of it because someone I knew had one, and I felt all cool that I was seeing a screener instead of the movies. But then when I was hearing stories how people in like Los Angeles, you'd go and people were giving standing ovations to J Hud in the middle of the movie. I've never seen a standing ovation in the middle of a movie theater, and I really to this day regret that. So I feel you when you said that you were upset.
You got to see those. You got to see those big ones in the theater for sure, guys.
Well, I'm
for
seeing
sure.
the British.
So anyway, that was really good. And oh, mother, isn't it awful? That was really good. And, I needed it because it was a very emotional week over here at Watch What Crappens, because we got some terrible news about a show that we love. It's very near and dear to our hearts. And it started way back in the day. Yeah. It's called Vanderpump Rules. And Vanderpump does not rule. Vanderpump no longer rules. Vanderpump is dead. It's over. Rome wasn't built in a day, but it burnt in like a week. Did you know that? And that's what happened this week. They burnt Rome. They burnt it.
Yeah. Well, the good news is Lisa is still with us on the show, so she will continue to live on. But yeah, I mean, Vanderpump Rules debuted. It premiered, I think, the same year that we started podcasting. I like if you go back and listen to like those, well, first of all, be careful when you go back and listen to them. But like Matt was on Crappens. So like that show and that cast has been like with us in our entire Crappens journey. And to know that, that we've outpaced them is kind of funny, but also that they're going to be moving on. It's sort of sad. I feel like they just were always our punching bags. And now we've had other punching bags, but never quite as reliable as Vanderpump Rules.
Oh, Vanderpump Rules will miss you, kind of. I mean, it was kind of time, but mostly I was sad that I'm wrong because I thought there's no way they're going to get rid of this show when it's still doing good numbers. I mean, it was still doing really good numbers. And when you look at Bravo ratings, not everything is really still doing good numbers, unfortunately. And we like to blame streaming, and we like to blame whatever it is. Maybe people are just watching on Peacock. Who knows what it is. But those numbers stayed pretty strong. I mean, they weren't beating the million mark or whatever, but they were still really close, as high or higher than any of the others, I would say. So I was surprised that they actually pulled the plug. And then someone tweeted that it was about their cast salaries, that they were just asking for too much money. I mean, after a pretty lackluster season, that's really not the time to ask for a raise. Lala and Sheena and all y'all. Come on now.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, the Bravo business structure that we've always heard about is that every year that you're on the show, you get paid more and more and more. So it's already very expensive for Bravo. And we also know that Bravo is cheap as fuck. As much as they love documenting wealthy people, they themselves are actually very cheap. And so, of course, they're going to be financially motivated to, wipe the slate, open up the salary cap, if you will. But and I think that if this last season had been super zeitgeisty and really captured the imagination, maybe, and it did to some extent. I mean, for as dull as people say it was, like you said, the numbers were good. It got an Emmy nomination, but I think that they probably had a hard time deciding how to move forward. I'm sure, honestly, Ariana is huge now, and I'm sure that they probably wanted her back because without her, after the post-scand of all things has settled and continues to settle, what is there really left for the show? And I think that's probably what they had to come to terms with.
Well, but I was excited to watch the after youth version of it, where the Toms are all funny-faced because of too much Botox and surgeries, and they're with these new young thirsty girls trying to get on the show, and the evolution of the LA male. I was excited to see that.
Still have Peter.
Oh, God. Peter's already out there well, guess who might have outlasted everyone on Vanderpump Rules? Oh, God, this is our promise of what's to come, Peter. Sorry, that noise is not me texting. I'm looking at the Sir Rules on Instagram, which is, can you see it? Hold on.
Sort of.
They keep posting things of their new servers, and oh my God, look how much everyone gets along over here. And we're in the same dresses as from season 1, the sexy little dresses, and they're really there's a girl who looks like Grace Lilly from Southern Hospitality, which I'm in.
Who doesn't really, though?
Just a bunch of new young people to screw each other over. So, listen, I'm feeling hopeful-ish.
Yeah, me too.
Not for them. I'm feeling horrible for them. Your lives are going to be ruined. You're going to be losers for the rest of your life. Look at 98% of that cast. Run. Turn back. Say no to the Paisley mini dresses. But they won't. They won't.
Unlike the Roni reboot, which I felt was a little premature. I mean, but I understand business-wise why Bravo had to do it. I think similar things. They were paying a lot of money to these women, and the ratings weren't as good. There was, optics issues. It wasn't worth probably all that money. So I get it. But I felt like Roni still actually had quite a bit of gas left in the tank when they did it. But here, I think this is good. I think actually, the show has strayed from its original premise. And even though The Next Generation can never be as good as Vanderpump Rules original, and I'm not even sure it could be as good as Southern Hospitality, to be honest. I still think
whoa jeez, I love that you always sound like you're on this positive monologue, and then you're just the world's over, you're burning tires out there in the front lawn. I mean, what the hell, bro?
No, it is positive. The reason why I say that is just because I think they have such enormous shoes to live up, to fill in, that I think people will have a hard time truly embracing them. And I don't think that Southern Hospitality had to deal with that. So they could sort of flourish on their own, poor terms. And so I think that, but I think that I'm excited to see a new crop of kids in their shitty apartments and busted air conditioners squabbling at the bar. I'm actually genuinely excited for that. And I am open arms for this reboot.
Yeah, me too. So let's go through some of the stuff that has been coming out. I told you Peter's already, which is the most depressing. He's I might be back. Yeah, nothing like watching Peter hit on 22-year-olds, which is going to happen. I'm just keep trying to cover up that bald spot with the rest of that ponytail, girl. Nobody needs it. So,
you're not allowed to say pony around him.
Say it.
He's still. You're not allowed to say pony around him. He's still traumatized. Starter pony.
Starter pony. I'm surprised well, you know what? We should probably look it up, the statement from Raquel, because I'm sure there was one. But I'm reading from the Us Magazine Weekly, and it says, the last 12 years of filming have been extraordinary run full of laughter, tears, herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea, and everything in between. Vanderpump said, I can't thank enough those who have shared their lives, how I love you all. In the restaurant business, one shift always gives way to another. In other words, turn 'em, burn 'em, 86 Sheena. She's done. Get her out.
In other words, the show has turned a corner. Oh, dear. Well, so right ahead of this announcement, and this is all swirling together, so I'm not trying to go out of order here, but
there's no order, my friend. I just
12 hours
pasted whatever I saw.
Well, 12 hours before this, and we should have known this Vanderpump Rules news was going to come, because like it feels like just a heartbeat before we learned that Schwartz and Sandy's would be closing down, and then of course it all makes sense, because if there are acts from the show, they're not going to be able to promote their failing bar. So of course, the writing's on the wall, perhaps intentionally so. Maybe it's part of Sandoval's decor. But Schwartz and Sandy's closing up shop after all that time and money they put into it.
Yeah, and there was a lot of statements, and Tom Sandoval's girlfriend made a statement that was like, I'm like just so sad for you guys, because like you didn't even really get a chance. Like you totally got screwed over, because like you should have had this season to promote yourself, which you didn't get. And they opened in a stupid place. They had a bad business decision. And I think the only decent thing was the Caesar salad, but I'm not sure. I think some people like that lobster corn dog thing too, but could have worked. But why would you put that in a place with no parking on Franklin? You need to put it in the Disneyland of the Vanderpump Rules. Yeah, we went to something about her, and we saw. Those girls come right to that little restaurant for lunch. They take a break. They come back and they go to the bars for dinner. It's like, that's our Disneyland. It's the Universal Studios. You can't have your land in a different theme park.
Yep. No, it was too far away. Like where Schwartz and Sandy's was kind of like a hipster kind of place a little bit. There's like the UCB theater there. There's cute little wine bars. It was Tom and Tom really trying to make a real bar for like a real LA scene. And the thing is, it's like, you got to know where your bread is buttered, if you're allowed to say that in WeHo. And like, she should have just taken over one of the old thong shops that closed down during the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. And look, Vanderpump made Tom out of a dildo shop. Remember?
She really did.
Yeah, it made so much sense. It remained a dildo shop.
My heart goes out to, there were so many losses with this restaurant closing. Obviously, the Toms lost their restaurant, their money. People lost their jobs. Chefs out of business. Food things not getting ordered. But the one who really stood to lose the most was this Victoria Lee Robinson, who was probably casting her lot there, or whatever the phrase is. She was trying to get onto Vanderpump Rules, and she was like,
100%.
She basically, she got a raw deal there, because she put in the work. She put in the work with that one, and she didn't even get to be on Bravo.
Yeah, and this was her statement. I'm so proud of you. I'm just assuming she talks like this. Doesn't she look like she talks like that?
See?
I'm sorry, but I'm sure I can guarantee you this much. I don't know what she talks like. I can guarantee what she doesn't talk like. Hello. I'm so proud of you. If only you were allowed to properly promote the place on the show as planned. If only someone would have allowed you to have access to the shopping center sign that came with the property so people could see it, as the place is hidden in a corner, which I tried to pay for and surprised you with multiple times, but was turned down. Yeah, you can't just walk into a strip mall and be like, we're changing the sign. I'm dating Sandoval. I'm sure that went over great.
This isn't like a Shakey's Pizza. You can't just like get your name thrown up there with a birthday. Okay. She's
excuse me. Continued. The list goes on and on. I felt bad from the beginning for the both of you. I love you, and I'm here to support you always. Remember, people don't always know what goes on behind closed doors and don't know all the facts. I love you. Thanks so much. Oh, and then Tom Sandoval said, "Thanks so much, baby. Love and lockdown with you." Yeah.
I'm not sure what loving lockdown means, but yeah.
Well, he's replying, giving a nod to Lala Kent's recent suggestion that Victoria and Sandoval had Sandoval on lockdown.
Oh, I see. I love that, like, her defense and her ode to her boyfriend is simultaneously a Yelp review to the manager of the strip mall. Like, and by the way, I tried to make a sign and they turned me down.
She is right, though. I had heard rumors weeks ago that it was closed, and so I was coming back from somewhere over there, and I was like, I'm going to pass by it and see if it's closed. And I was like, oh, it is closed, but it wasn't. You just can't see it because it's in the corner, and they do have that little neon sign, which is kind of too busy, but hey, it's something. But it's like hidden behind kind of a walkway and a patio. Yeah, I mean, you have to be looking for it pretty hard. And Katie also posted on Schwartz's post that was like, oh, Jack, I'm just like, oh, gosh, it's just like so sad. But like, his post, it was meandering, gosh darn post. She posted, it rhymes with Katie Maloney's Bar and Grill. Just kidding. I'm looking forward to what's next for you.
It does have to be satisfying for Katie, knowing that she has people like lined up around the block to have her sandwiches while Schwartz and Sandy's goes down the tube. I also think that, by the way, that the story about this sign, them not allowing them to promote it on the sign, there's got to be more to it, because I don't know any landlord that's going to have a tenant but then won't allow the tenant to advertise their business. Landlords want, I'm not giving landlords too much credit. A lot of shitty landlords out there, but I think that by and large, landlords just want their tenants to pay their money, and they want the businesses to do well, so that way they get their money. And so I just don't think it's as simple as like this. Should some fickle landlord decided that they did not want the one business in their strip mall to not advertise on the sign. There's more of that story, I guarantee.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial. So, shortly after the announcement, the cast took to their respective social media feeds to post their goodbyes, thanking fans for sticking with them, etc., etc. And let's see, who's this one? Schwartz also shared a clip video created by a fan set to the tune of the Friends theme song, writing, how the last 12 years replays in my mind. Yeah, okay.
Kyle Cook responded. He said, "You gave it your all, something to be proud of. Sometimes the stars don't align and the journey is full of learning lessons, like learning that it's not a good idea to marry someone who wants to drag you out to the Jersey suburbs, but enough about that. The biggest regret of all would have been not trying in the first place, sort of like me with Manda, right? Second regret, trying in the first place. So hats off to you guys for putting your blood, sweat, and tears into something you actually are running your own business. And where there's no risk, there's no reward, and definitely no Amanda. Love you, buddy."
Ariana Maddox had a post that ended with, I don't know that these were the best days of our lives, but they were definitely something special. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm practicing on a giant turkey float for the Thanksgiving.
No, I will more or less lip sync to the Cardigans. Excuse me now.
Sheena posted a picture of herself back in the beginning in one of those original dresses that it looks like they're bringing back for the reboot. And I mean, this was 10 faces ago. Bless her. I've loved all of her faces. As problematic as Sheena can be, who did she ever hurt? Besides, I don't know, probably a lot of people. But, now that we're just being nice about stuff.
Yeah, besides Leanne Rimes. No, I mean...
General alcoholism.
Brandi Glanville.
Well, she wasn't great with that. Yeah, Brandi Glanville, yeah. Well, Brandi Glanville, fuck her. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's like, the end of an era and the start of something new. I don't even know where to begin. Wow. Like, okay, yeah. Of course, it's still going to be 5 paragraphs, girl. I don't know where to begin. You don't know where to end. Okay, you don't know where to end. That's my note for you. So she goes on. It's amazing. I can't imagine when we shot the pilot. I can't imagine it became what it has, nor go for as long as it did. And yes, you're right. I just said nor. So to the fans who've been with us from the beginning, corner, and to everyone who joined along the way, thank you. Putting our lives out there isn't always easy, but every time one of y'all reached out to say our stories resonated, you made it all worth it. To our amazing crew, blah-de-blah, I'll be forever grateful, blah-de-blah. We've truly worked with the best cast crew and been part of so many special moments. Here's my Venmo and my PayPal. Please Sandoval me as quickly as you can. And then she wrote, the rest is still unwritten. That was her last cryptic.
Little Hills reference. Is she going to be doing a Hill reboot? She's like, I'm Lauren Conrad now, everyone. She just shows up on screen with a blonde wig. The rest is still unwritten. I want to forgive you and I want to forget you. It's like, we know you're not Lauren Conrad. Yes, I am. I'm very much Lauren Conrad. Where's Brody Jenner?
And then Lala's post. Where it begins. I was a young girl from Salt Lake City who made her way to LA's. I would introduce myself as Lauren, but because my childhood best friend referred to me as Lala, my nickname quickly stuck. Thirst was a place that became home. I found myself not only sipping on vodka soda, sir, but behind a hostess stand. It's still, to this day, the most intimidating jobs I've ever had. A short time later, the opportunity to be on a show called Vanderpump Rules landed in front of me. I have such mixed feelings right now. It's no secret I do not like change. This is the exception. I want to say thank you for rocking with us for so many years. This show changed my whole life. I'm unbelievably grateful. We rocked this bitch until the wheels fell off. And then it's like a dancing lady emoji.
Right. My favorite.
She skipped a lot of history there. I'm just saying. There's a lot missing.
James Kennedy says, I can't lie, I'm holding back some tears right now as I write this, but that's mainly because I'm so fucking high on cocaine. I can't even believe this bit of life that I have right now. It's been a pleasure being a part of Vanderpump Rules and filling your TV screens with our lives over the past decade, and also playing the sickest music you've ever heard from one DJ who's ever played a set while sitting on a pile of toilet paper, babe. Okay, I've dedicated my life to this show, and I'm forever grateful to everyone who tuned in, and all my dreams are finally coming true. This year I played the Neon Carnival, EDC, Stagecoach, and a Home Goods on Ventura Boulevard. And I have a Vegas residency. Well, it's more like I've got a motel room in Vegas that I'm calling my residency, but it is a residency nonetheless. Whether you like to use it in that phrase or that phrase, it's still a residency. And all I have to say is thank you. It's been a wild ride, and I'm excited to see what the future holds. Although this is a bittersweet ending for me, this is just the beginning, because I'm the only one of those old fucks who has a job prospect after the show ends. Wiggy wiggy out.
I'm the only one who got out of here before he was on a rocker, all right?
I mean, he did play for Taylor Swift. What can you say?
Yeah, that's some revisionist history.
Dom cannot believe what's happening over here. He's just sitting in the background on the bed. He's just like, here, look at Dom.
I told him, run. You don't, you don't need to be here. Run. Save yourself.
He's just cracking up back there.
Oh gosh. Okay, so that's most of their stuff, and now.
Well, by the way, did you see that Jax had a response to? And this is not a joke. And I wish I had saved it. I thought it was in here, but Jax basically had a response that was like, anyway, I'm going off to my show now, which is like the most predictable response. He does a whole paragraph that's like, oh my God, it was nice. Da, 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 da. He goes, anyway, catch you all on my show. Kidding, not really. So he's fully enjoying this.
Jax Taylor responds to Pump Rules reboot news. See you soon on my show, he says. Let's see. It's Jax Taylor's world, and we're just living it. Thanks, Yahoo. It's just a lot of photos of Jax, of course. He's like, look at this carousel while I talk about how I feel. He's like, I mean, this can be a series on its own, covering my face, kind of hiding my eye. In all seriousness, Vanderpump Rules will always have a place in my heart. From what started as a crazy group of friends working together to making ends meet to stealing vodka and tequila from your boss, to becoming such an iconic series and dumping people after rehab. So many memories, both good and bad. Many highs, still high, still super high. Actually, still lots of highs. Probably more lows, but who knows? Because I'm high. But I'm so thankful to have worked with such an incredibly talented team. This isn't goodbye. More like see you soon on my show. But for real this time, devil.
Yeah, it was my with in all caps. It is sort of sad that it is kind of his show. But the thing is that the Valley is going to inherit a bunch of scraps from Vanderpump Rules. Well, it's not really scraps; they're main players. But Sam,
it's scraps now. The dinner's over. Okay, the dinner is over. It's not like a top tier talent to get Lala and Sheena. They're fired.
Yeah, Lala, Sheena, and Schwartz are going to show up on the Valley. Hopefully, just like as sort of cameos or showing up here or there, because I just think that it's time. The Valley actually was shockingly excellent, and that cast has a really good chemistry and a good vibe. And I just don't want it to be ruined by seasoned vets who are going to try to take over the show and like continue their 15 minutes. Like we have Jax and Kristen, and that's great. I just don't. Let's let the Valley be the Valley.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, listen, no, not one single person that I've read. Well, that's not true. I'm sure there are people. Listen, there are people who like everything. That's what the internet has taught me.
Weird.
Never doubt the what do you call it? The possibility. Like when you could have talent. What is that? That kid's got promise. I don't know.
It's not usually. This is not something we usually talk about with Vanderpump Rules.
I know my tongue is totally tied.
I'm like, what?
But basically, this the potential for stupidity in commenters. But yeah, some people maybe do like it. I think this is the dumbest decision to put them on. Why would you? Why are you doing this? Listen to the people. Literally, people last season were like, would you like them on Vanderpump Rules? Everybody said no. Okay, no. I mean, when those girls bought houses in the Valley, people were trying to get Realtor.com shut down. No, the answer is no. The Valley doesn't even want them there. And as a Valley resident, I can now say, no, get out of the Valley. It's hot enough without you stinking it up and making it even hotter with your thirst. So yeah, nobody wants it. Hopefully they're just like smaller guest stars like last year when they showed up at a couple of parties and didn't really do much, because nobody needs that. I need to see Janet get taken down on her own. I don't need to see Janet, getting more to her coven. But anyway,
listen,
that
I
happened.
love Shishu. I love our Shishu. Sheena forever cracks me up. I think she's like, she has good seasons, bad seasons, but she always makes me laugh. And so I do want a space for Sheena. I just feel like the Valley needs to be its own thing. The Valley survived its first season and showed it doesn't need any help from like special guest stars. Let's find something else for Sheena, okay? And let's let the Valley be the Valley.
Yes. There's a comment in here that says, these are the kind of guys who buy girls' socks. I don't know what that means, but I hope it means us, because that is accurate.
We buy Apple socks.
Which is funny. Okay, so so the Valley, they're going to the Valley. What else happened over here? Oh, well, I was just going to say, I guess kind of the least surprising news out of all of this is that the most canceled are the people who came out on top. I mean, listen, you had Jax, Kristen, and Stassi. All the people who got fired from the Orig are now back fighting. Jax and Kristen have a new show. They've been pretty much forgiven. I mean, if you hate them, it's for new stuff, most likely. And Kristen is pregnant. She's having a little hopefully her baby is named
Seriously?
Seriously?
Mary Kosa.
So she's doing that. And then Stassi just got a 7-figure deal for her podcast, which that's $10 million, right?
Yeah, that is 10 million more. That's 10 million times the podcast. That's not podcast one. That's podcast 10 million. She is going to podcast one, getting $10 million. Yeah, they did ride the wave, because the thing is that like sometimes, well, not ride the wave. They did. Like they are now up, because the thing is that these things happen in waves. And so they took their hits in 2020. So now they are now ascendant, because they were put in the timeout corner. They are now ascendant, and now everyone else has to scramble, and then maybe they will be ascendant too. But I don't think so. It's like you got to hit the wave just right, and I don't know what the future has for the rest of them. But yeah, it's wild. Who would have thought that those three would be the ones who have jobs?
Someone pointed out 7-figure would be 1 million. No, that's not true. Wait, 6 zeros is a million, but yeah, she's right, because then the one would be the seventh figure. You guys,
leave the last figure off for savings.
I never claimed to be intelligent. Okay,
but still, I thought it says there was a $10 million deal. I don't know why I got that accent.
Yeah, it would be 8 figures.
Going to the meeting. Why are you going to the meeting? So it does say Stassi Schroeder lands 7-figure podcast deal. Okay, so it's not $10 million deal.
Well, who knows? It's a lot.
Either way.
So, she's killing it over there. So, and she's also got a new TV show. Well, it's not new, but they're going to try that Vanderpump Villa with Stassi there somehow. I'm still not sure how that's going to work out, but couldn't be worse than the first go-round.
I think the word on the street is that they basically tossed season 1 aside and are starting fresh, which is good. I'll resample it again. I won't hold the crimes of season 1 against it. I'll just hold the crimes of season 1 against anyone who is creatively involved in it.
Yeah. Alex Baskin up there putting the wrong people on this show. So let's see here. What else? Are there any more Vanderpump Rules-ish things that we should be talking about? I really want to know Raquel Levis. How do you say that?
Yeah. Levis. I think it's Levis. Levis?
Let's see what she's posting on her Instagram. Because, she's got that brain surgeon rocket scientist guy now. Let's see. I hope she did like a full statement. Well, she's standing in front of a rocket. That's one.
That's good. She's very...
So it is a rocket scientist. Is it a brain surgeon or a rocket scientist she's with?
Both. He is a person who goes up on... He builds rockets and then does surgery on their brains. The rockets have human brains.
Because she is in this picture standing in front of a rocket, and it says, take me back to Flight 5. Today, SpaceX will be launching the test Flight 6, but nothing beats witnessing the booster catch for the very first time in history. Best of luck today, Shamrock. Take me back Tuesday.
This is an actual real thing that she wrote. Okay, first of all, Raquel, like doing a selfie at SpaceX is already kind of what is in front of their squid-looking rocket ship. Look at that; it looks like a squid without its tentacles. So there's that. Find a better animal to look like. I'm offended for squids, but Raquel. When you say is her boyfriend a rocket scientist, and then we go, and then there it is, Raquel standing in front of a rocket. It's so on the nose. Are we allowed to say on the nose when we talk about Raquel? Is it too soon?
Always too soon for that one. Dark stuff. There's another one where she's kneeling down and like bringing a thing in front of a disco ball, and it says disco hour heart chakra meditation, and obviously it's just in silence, but it's a video, and I guess she's doing chakra work on people. And someone wrote, do you actually have a job?
It was Bethany.
That's the top comment.
Do you actually have a job? Why aren't you at the recording studio, huh?
She's gone now. They're rebooting that show. You know that, right? Don't you listen to Crappy Hour?
Yeah. No, I know. She left her podcast. I know that, but I'm just laughing at. I'm just imagining Bethany walking into like the empty studio and expecting Raquel to be there. Like,
it's weird that she's doing this disco hour thing. That's her new thing. She's like, look at me, it's disco hour. She has another post called Disco Hour Unboxing. Glow crystal bowls. Use code Rachel Levis for money off. There's a picture of Raquel with a I voted sticker, and it says another selfie, this time with a sticker, American flag, #election day. Unfortunately, she voted for whether or not she likes the chicken Big Mac. So she's well intentioned, but she just gets her votes wrong. The fuck is that?
In the wrong elections.
The fuck is that chicken Big Mac? It's like limited time. I was like, yeah, because we're going to be dead if you keep it out much longer. Who's going to die from heart attacks from that thing? It's a Randall sandwich, isn't that two fried chicken breasts on a Big Mac?
It's basically like giant McNuggets on a Big Mac. And I was going to get one. I was like, oh my God, I got to try it. And then when I was told it was basically McNuggets on a Big Mac, I was like, I don't know why. That's not as appealing to me. Besides, the sausage roll I had today will do way more damage than any chicken Big Mac could ever do to my body. Way more. Way more.
Guess what? We have a request.
Yes.
To go read Joe's post from...
Oh, yeah. Joe is doing... Yes. Let's do that. I'm going to Joe.
So I went, I saw something with Joe the other day, and I just couldn't. I was like, maybe I'll watch that later, but right now I just don't have the patience, strength. I'm trying to think of the right word. Strength, will. I don't have the will to watch it. One of those. It was something like that. It was just very like, that's all I could see was like, the interpretive dance. And I don't know what it was, but I said I'd come back to it. And you know what? They brought us back. So let's see what it says.
Well, what was so strange to me is that like she had put up a picture with like her sitting in like the interview chair being reflective. And I'm like, I don't think you get to do this. You were not on long enough
you weren't
to have a nostalgic, wow, guys, those were the best days of our lives. Like, what's next? Vale? Are we going to hear from Vale and see her talking heads?
No. Vale. I would like to hear from Vale. That's actually who I want to hear from. Vale, that girl who got dumped at rehab. What was her name?
Laura Lee.
I don't see this post on Instagram. Does she just post?
She must have taken it down.
Oh God. What's her name? Now I have to go on a real search for this shit. Oh my gosh.
She curates. But like, you know what? I would love to hear from like some of the smaller players, like Guillermo, or what about Diana, or
they're going to be on the new one. Guillermo's still over there, so he'll be there.
What about Jax's girlfriend Carmen? What about Carmen?
Oh my God, she was amazing. Remember when she broke up because what was it? He wouldn't pay for her hamburger at that Hamburger Hut thing on Sunset.
Yeah, the Hamburger Hamlet. What about Kelsey Patel? Do you remember Kelsey Patel?
I don't.
She was Jax's Reiki teacher.
Okay. I'd like to guys, I can't find this post. That sucks.
I know. Well, you know what? Some things are left just in the past.
Yeah, probably
that's very profound.
So let's see. So what else is going on in the world of Bravo, Ben? Let's go over some other stuff. There's a new Real Housewives of Miami cast member.
Yeah, there's new. So I'm just so excited that like the Miami like rumor mill is gearing up. We got news. There was the whole Bravo fan fest that happened since we last did Crappy Hour, and so Bravo trotted out a lot of people from a lot of shows, but they were doing a big push, I noticed, for Miami, which was great. I mean, they were in Miami, but I was really happy. People were very concerned earlier this year about why are the cameras not picked up for Miami? Alexa's going through this divorce. Where is Bravo? Why is Bravo not doing this? Why is Bravo failing us? Why does Bravo hate Miami? Well, the good news is that Bravo seems to be fully behind Miami again. They really did a big push at the show, and they introduced the new housewife, and her name is Stephanie Shojahi. I don't know how to say her name, but her name is Stephanie, and she is a real estate developer. And I don't know, any first impressions of her so far, Ronnie?
Well, they seem to find somebody extremely delusional, which I appreciate, because they said, describe yourself to us. And she described herself as a trailblazer in everything I do. So I'm in. That's the kind of spirit I need. I love people who are like, I'm amazing. I'm a trailblazer, which is why I love Bose on Beverly Hills. She like literally invented everything, and she's the boss of everything. And I think it's
Miami's a good place for that kind of bravado, right? Because you've Alexia, who's like, I was born a star, so you may be a trailblazer, but nothing can blaze as bright as my star. Sorry, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I heard that they were hiring Dr. Nicole Martins. Okay, so she's with Anthony, right? That Robin Williams guy,
right?
And his ex, I think they hired his ex to be on the show, but I don't know if this is that girl. I do have hopes that she's Middle Eastern. Just represent. We need more than Larsa. Larsa's Middle Eastern, right? What is Larsa?
Said everyone.
Is she Lebanese?
Half, I think, or maybe she's full. But we need more than Larsa is a phrase said by everyone in any context that they've ever known Larsa Pippen.
We need more than Larsa. Do you remember when the show wasn't on the air and Larsa was a spokesperson for butt bleach? I will never forget it.
And butts across America were saying, intriguing, but we need more than Larsa Pippen.
Hey, butts are even more puckered than ever. They're huddled up in a corner saying, "We need more than Larsa Pippen."
Yeah, so she shared a taste of what's to come, calling herself a very tough cookie, but I'm a delicious cookie. Well, okay. I mean, I
but it doesn't matter because you're going to break my teeth. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, the thing is this: you might be a tough cookie, but if you wind up being just like an oatmeal raisin cookie when I'm looking for a chocolate chip, it's going to be a problem. Okay.
Yeah, cookies are controversial. You don't want to just say I'm a cookie, especially a tough one. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like tough cookies anyway. Who likes tough cookies? Literally nobody.
Who came up with that phrase? Of all the things that are tough, there's so many tough things in the world. Why is cookie your best example of it? Like, I'm tough. I'm as tough as a cookie. It's like, wait, what? And then that's what stuck with all of us?
Yeah. People from the 20s are like, yeah, keep it. Just put it in the news so people in the future will get out. We'll get that too. Tough as a cookie. She's a tough cookie.
Who was fucking up their cookie recipes so badly that it was like just obviously known that cookies were tough?
So closing out some last show stuff, that shows that aren't on anymore. Orange County ended, but we have not been able to do any kind of follow up with that because I don't know, it ended and then it was over, and then we haven't done Crappy Hour since it ended. So John Jansen did a tell-all, which was pretty.
For someone who wants a non-disparagement clause so badly, a tell-all is hilarious.
No, he didn't want the non-disparagement clause. Remember, Shannon was the one who wanted it.
But meaning that he did not want a non-disparagement. Oh, you're right.
Right, she wanted the mutual, and he was like, no, I'm not signing that. I want to talk shit forever. How am I going to get on Entertainment Tonight? And then sure enough, here he comes on Entertainment Tonight, and the guy who does the interviewers there, the interviews there, he's so cute. He was wearing like a little Jackie O jacket. He's like, this is very important for me. I'm going to wear a very important jacket to this interview. And they were like walking. He's like Jane Pauley. It's Jane Pauley, right? He's walking like Jane Pauley, like making a serious face, like John Jansen. Let's talk about receipts. John's like, I'm wearing a Gucci belt. That's what I have to say about this whole thing.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. And of course, it's not surprising I confused his lawsuit with Michael Darby. Michael Darby is the one who wants the non-disparagement. But either way, these guys are garbage. And of course, John Jansen going on a victory lap about this whole thing, claiming he wants to be a private person, but then, squawking to everyone. And as much as we love Entertainment Tonight and sweet Nichelle Turner, no, this is, he needs to go away. This is stupid.
Yeah. And then Alexis just keeps having posts like, oh, you will get the proof. You will get the proof, everybody. God told me, stay strong. God's with me. I'm like, girl, God does not want you to get proof against people on The Real Housewives, okay? That's not what God's for. He wants you off. God is canceling you. There, I said it. Yeah. When you get fired this year, it's because God said so.
Yeah, I mean, how many signs does God have to give you? At some point, you've got to look at the celestial omens. And on top of that, the fact that, this whole statement that she has, where she says, I just had a chance to watch the reunion of RHOC season 18. And I'm letting everyone know that I'm broken this season. I was already broken by losing my mom 3 months ago prior to filming. So it was already a difficult decision to sign back on. And yet I'm thankful because it brought me out of bed and out of my depression. Now, if you're thinking oh, guys, maybe we are being too hard on her because she did go through a really hard time in her life. The picture that goes along with this is Alexis looking over her shoulder, extreme close up in glam, being like, I'm like, no.
With millions of pennies of fake diamonds dripping off of her ears, all the cuffed all the way up, girl.
Could you this is the moment where you put maybe a black and white photo up, stripped down, bare, no makeup, this is me at my rawest. But instead she's like, here I am, future past maxi dress maven.
She's trying to victim cloak herself, but then she can't even keep it. She's like, I have depression. I was in bed. Fuck Shannon Bedore. So she's like, but now I've been beaten down so badly, so wrongly, and so many truths left out. Right. So much left on the cutting room floor that would have never brought me so much heat to me and my family. There are receipts, many, and they will be brought out this week. The lawsuit only finalized because the opposition knew we had the receipts to bring it to court. Okay, well then bring them then. What do you Crazy lady. Nobody cares. You suck. She ends this whole, she goes over all this money that was spent by John, this and that, receipts. And she brought receipts and they were not shown at the reunion. So now she's going to have to show them to Entertainment Tonight. And she just literally goes on. And she says, God has a different plan. So do the viewers of this show. Get the fuck out of here. And then she goes, I'm going to live with God because he always prevails. You know who else always prevails? Shannon Bedore. Now get the fuck out of here. You lost. Bye.
You lost.
Leave God out of it. He's got enough shit, or they've got enough shit going on without you. Okay, don't need to take credit for all your bullshit. Leave them
God
alone.
has a plan, and God is giving you a mop and saying, "Clean up the mess in aisle 6 in your trampoline park."
Yeah, and when his plan turns out to be you waiting tables at Chili's, don't complain. Okay, you don't get to choose the plan.
Now, I mean, the hot take here, I know you don't agree with this at all, but like that being said, I think that they should bring her back. I think she was a great villain. I think she was a great deluded villain. And, I love my awful, awful villains. This is a terrible trait that I have. I have rallied for the worst women on Bravo. Time and time again. I'm sorry. I don't know what this says about me, but I can't help it. I love my trash box villains.
It's not that she's a trash box or that she's a villain. She's just so bad. She can't even form a sentence. She's just an idiot. I'd like somebody I want somebody a little smarter. I don't like just a complete. I like you to be like a dumbass in a funny way, which she's not. Or be this whole like desperate for men like John Jansen. I can't. We need to stamp this out.
I have to say, speaking of this whole area, I was going through my hard drive. I was like clearing stuff out, going through old photos, and I had saved a video clip of Heather Dubrow's little monologue against Shannon Bedore that we always quote. And I have to say, just watching it again, it was like a masterpiece. It was so cold and evil, and it came out of nowhere because she has like a sash in her hair. She sits down, Shan, like, hey, I just want to say one thing. Okay, thank you so much for coming to the party. If you ever, and just like the way it pivots, and it's so dark and it's so cold, and you see Shannon absolutely flummoxed, like that moment is like perfection. And I think that like the Bravo fans need to give it more credit. I feel like they give it a lot of credit, but like it really needs to be up there in the pantheon. It is so good. And totally unjustified too, by the way. It's like Shannon totally does not deserve it, but wow, like that's great housewifery right there.
Yeah, that's just an overshoot, which is that. Now that's a villain. You see, that's a good villain because that's Heather, like really like, oh, I'm going to show everybody, Terry, and I'm going to come in, Terry. Let's practice this. What should I say? I'm going to sit her down, Terry, and I'm going to do this thing. It's going to be so scary, and she does it, and it's just an overshoot. She looks like a complete idiot, and then she's an overshoot.
It's an overshoot, but like
that's good villainry. That's like she wrote a monologue. Have you seen the musical that she's in that they're pasting clips of? She's singing a song called Black Friday. I think it's about like she's a manager of a store and she's evil, of course, which I'm glad she's like leaning into that. I'm glad the community theater in Orange County was like, you know what? Just have to play Satan. And it's this form, you're a manager of like a Big Lots or something. And she's like, everything is on sale. It's Black Friday. You haven't seen it?
No, and I would like to buy a ticket and see it.
We're going to that show.
I would love to see that. Black Friday. So anyway, she was great villainy. And you know what? When we're sitting here, complaining about Real Housewives of New York does not have enough camp. Like, honestly, I got to give credit to Heather Dubrow for it. As much of an overshoot as it was just pure, beautiful camp. Other quick things before we turn it over to people. Random things have fallen out of pop culture. One thing is that Jen Shaw called Meredith Marks because at Bravo at FanFest, someone asked if Meredith or the group has anyone spoken to Jen Shaw, and Meredith is like, actually, I just received a phone call from Miss Jennifer Shaw a few weeks ago, and we had a nice conversation. It was 10 minutes long. It was cut off, not by the jail, but because my toddler needed his diapers changed, so I took care of that. But it was nice to catch up with her. Yes.
Oh, well, what they talk about? I don't like this non-news. I need to know what you talked about. If you're getting a file into that prison, like what's going on, girl?
Yeah, she didn't really. It sounded like she didn't really get into it. She just was like, we talked, but it seems like they are all pretty much. It seems like they are more chill about Jen Shah than Monica, which is crazy.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I get it, but it's just wild to think that this person sitting in a jail for defrauding thousands of people still somehow.
Yeah, but she didn't defraud them. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Monica defrauded them. I think they're looking at it as like, we've been through battle together, us and Jen Shah, and Monica's just some stalker. I don't know. I can't relitigate the Monica stuff because she's still out there squeaking away. It's still out there. She's still going to be part of the plot this season, so she's still out there.
And in fact, Heather is went and said that Monica. That Coach Shah actually tried to kiss Monica. Heather has now alleged this. So,
what she alleged, this was, Heather, I would love to dogpile on Heather, but actually what she said was in her new book called Good Time Girl, which is funny because it's a quote from Lisa Barlow, who she was so furious with. But it says something like Monica said that she tried to kiss. I don't know. She's not alleging it. She's just saying she didn't believe it when Monica said it the first time. She thought it was a big lie. Yeah.
So either way, illicit times happening with all these people.
Yeah, illicit times. No one's shocked anymore. I'm not shocked about any kind of crap that comes out of Utah these days. Geez, those horn dogs over there. Lord.
Nope.
It's one of the horniest states ever. How are there not more gay people in Utah? It's like one of the horniest places ever. There's more hard-ons there than I've ever seen in my life. I've seen a lot of them.
Well, I'm sure they're there, just maybe not out.
Okay. Well, we're going to end the audio portion of this and go to viewer calls. Okay. Everybody is listening. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll be back to normal time next time in 2 weeks at around 5. What time is it?
Usually 5:30.
5:30 Pacific time. And you can do the math from there because I will fuck it up, as you know. I thought 7 figures was $10 million. So that's where I'm at. We sure love you guys.
Accommodating me.
We'll talk to you next time.
But now we go on to the Q&A part. All right.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King. It's always automatic with Ashley Auto.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Put your hands together for Carly Clapp.
Get on the right foot with Chrissy Offutt. Dana C. Dana Do.
Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas. Jamie, she has no last namey. You'll never hide from Heidi Eleanor Jones.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know Your Worth with Jason Kurth.
Sip some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's our favorite streamer, Caroline Peacock.
Kristen the Piston Anderson.
Rigging the Funk, it's Leslie Plunkett.
She gets an A from us, it's Lindsay D. Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino.
Always killing it, it's Lola Alkalani.
We love her on the rocks, it's Melissa Cox. Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
Have a heck of a time with Rebecca.
The highest tally, it's Sarah McNally.
Cast a spell with Shannon Spellman. The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall. We got our wish, it's Jen Plish.
She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch.
She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly, it's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender.
She's a whiz, it's Liz Sarthy.
The incredible edible Matthews sisters. She eases our woes, it's Melissa St. Rose.
Give him hell, Miss Noel.
Ring that bell for Rachel.
She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.